So while I'm out today, obviously as usual, various thoughts run through my mind, and I've been considering over the last few weeks it's a little bee's nest, or a small creature's nest. How lovely. As I was saying, over the last few weeks I've been considering the thought of change. Now, of course, we know that change is continuously happening all the time, and there are changes that are within our control and changes that are not in our control. The changes that are not in control, obviously, we have to deal with in our own way, and we're almost forced into making changes whether we wish to or not. Some of those can be extremely painful. Of course, we are, many of us are reluctant and wish to steer clear of change, or it becomes quite difficult for us to change. We seem to be quite happy and content with our lot and where we are. But what about the changes that we can make, or that we need to make, or we feel we want to make? You know, personality changes, or changes to situations which we feel that are affecting our lives in a detrimental way. And it's these changes that I'm thinking about today. They can be extremely difficult and challenging. They may be changes, of course, that we feel we need to make based on people's opinions of ourselves or our place in society. Maybe we first need to weigh up whether these changes are really necessary, whether they are changes that really feel there is a benefit to us to make those changes, and how they would affect people around us. It is the effect that whatever changes we decide to make have an effect on our family, our friends, our loved ones, those we feel close enough to us to be affected by the changes. I myself, many years ago, didn't like the person I was. I had certain traits which I felt held me back and restricted me in many ways. So I set about starting to change. And what I failed to do at the time was to actually talk to people around me, loved ones, friends, family, or anyone that I felt I needed to. I felt that the changes that I made would be obvious and beneficial to everybody. Unfortunately, what actually happened was these changes did actually make me a different person. What I felt was a better person, but I wasn't relatable then to the loved ones around me. And as you can well imagine, over a period of time, I grew further and further apart from one person in particular who maybe I needed to have had better communication with. So, you know, whatever changes we do decide to make, it is wise to have some kind of conversation or communication with people around us so that we can let them know how we feel. They may be fully aware of what we perceive to be our shortcomings, and they may be very happy then to help us perhaps, or at least understand the direction in which we feel we need to go. Sometimes, of course, the very people that we should communicate with, they're the people that we find it the hardest to communicate our feelings and our thoughts. And so it's possible to perhaps find someone outside of that circle just for guidance, maybe, if we're feeling somewhat trapped or unable to communicate with the people that we need to. Of course, the other thing as well is that whilst we realise that our life is not going in the direction at which we perhaps might like, and that changes need to be made, we're not always aware of those particular changes that need to be made. I think from that point of view, it's we kind of have to be a little bit honest with ourselves when we look in the mirror. It's very easy, particularly in modern society, to feel that we should be doing this or should be doing that, or should we feel a certain way. And those sort of things can influence us. So maybe look at our surroundings and become aware of whether these changes really do need to be made and how we're going to go about setting about them. I think from that point of view, there is a little prayer. Well, it's called a prayer. It's called the Prayer of Serenity. And I may not necessarily be getting the words 100% right here, but it works along the lines of we're asking to be able to change the things that we can change, have the courage to change those things, to become aware of the things that we can't change, and the wisdom to know the difference between the two. Oh, look, our little sheep are all sitting down. Some of them have taken a little bit of an interest in me. I can't understand why, other than they're looking at this strange man who's talking to himself or talking to his phone. Maybe they're used to that, I don't know. I will check out the exact wording of that, as I say, prayer of serenity when I get home, and hopefully post it somewhere on this video for you, so as you've got it more accurate than I'm saying to you here, but maybe you get the gist of where I'm coming from. Maybe once we've decided that change is necessary, no matter how small that might be, and to be fair, small changes can be just as challenging, just almost as painful, if you like, to come to terms with. So, you know, we shouldn't trivialise our need or want for changing. But once we've come to the conclusion that change is necessary, then it may be wise, and something that I try myself, is to think of what those changes may mean, what sort of form they may take, what are the best outcomes of those changes. Obviously, when we've felt that needed to change, then we're clearly not necessarily happy or extremely happy or content with where we are. So we've made a decision to want to change. And we can possibly at that time only see a positive outcome, which is what I did many years ago. However, we may need to consider what those changes, what effects those changes may have, and almost take into account a worst case scenario, and just explore that situation, and maybe get to a point where we are happy with the outcome, irrespective of it's not as positive as we may wish at the outset. One of the unfortunate things about humans is that we play over and over again in our mind varying scenarios that may or may not happen, and sometimes we create those situations and decide that actually to change is not worth the aggravation, the distress that it may cause to other people. We should, or we do, say should's not the right word, but take into account other people's feelings. We don't want to hurt other people. On the other hand, we've got to be true to ourselves, I think, and that may mean that there is a short-term upheaval to achieve what for everybody concerned is a better outcome. I must try not to be too dramatic here. Some changes are very sort of beneficial to us, i.e., for example, to stop smoking, if of course you smoke in the first place. You would think that would be beneficial to everybody around you. However, of course, if you have a circle of friends that you socialise with and they smoke, and they're used to you smoking, then that may be something that affects them as well. I just use that as an example. Anything else, there's loads of other examples I'm sure you can think of changes which will affect everybody around you. I really do hope that in some small way I've been able to help one or two of you. Of course, I'm not a professional. I've done limited training with regards to psychology and changes that, anything that needs to be concern themselves with the mind and just our everyday life, really, I suppose. And it may well be that after all this, you may need to seek some further help, professional help. If I can be of any assistance at all, or further assistance at all, then you're more than welcome to email me, and I'll hopefully try and help where I can. to give any guidance that I can, as I say. So, as you can tell, it's a bit of a steep incline here. I shouldn't have videoed really going uphill, should I? But there you go, stupid is as stupid does. Anyway, I hopefully will catch up with you very soon. Look after yourselves. Bye for now.